that Krishna can only be attained by spontaneous love and service. So what does spontaneous mean? Spontaneous, S-P-O-N-T-A-N-E-O-U-S. Yes? Well, that's the name of spontaneous service to Krishna, yes, Raganuga. But what does spontaneous, the word in English, mean? Spontaneous. Yes. Well, that's a partial meaning of the word. Yes.
Over and over again?
Not exactly. Yes. Yes. That's very close to the meaning. It's something that's natural. Yes. Yeah, it's naturally done, and there's no, like she said, premeditation. You just naturally do it, right? So when you naturally, say, in other words, if you're sitting in kirtan on Friday night, kids kirtan, and you purposely walk out to fight and wrestle, that is not spontaneous devotional service. That's spontaneous nonsense. There's a difference between spontaneous nonsense and spontaneous devotional service. Spontaneous has the meaning that it's natural. Just like breathing is natural, eating is natural. When that devotional service is natural, and it's just coming from within your heart due to love for Krishna, it's called spontaneous devotional service, or Raganuga Bhakti. You're not being forced to do it, and you're doing it out of attraction and love for Krishna. Okay? So basically this is the only way that you can come to Krishna. You cannot go in any other way, not by doing great austerities, not by having tremendous knowledge of the Vedas, not by any other process, not by speculation. It's only by spontaneous love and devotion. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yasoda, is very easily available to devotees, but not to tapasvis, people who do austerity, yogis who do mystic yoga, or jnanis who cultivate Vedic knowledge, and others who have a bodily concept of life, meaning the karmis. They use their body only for sense gratification, not to serve Krishna. Although they may sometimes be called Santa Bhaktas, real bhakti begins with Dasya Rasa. So you have 5 rasas with Krishna. One is called Santa, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, right? So Prabhupada is saying here, real bhakti begins with Dasya Rasa. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye tamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mamamart manavartante manusya partha sarvasa. Okay, Mayapur, stop talking to Krishna or anybody else. Okay, sit over here, Mayapur. Sit over here. We want to see what you're doing. Everyone loves his body. Everyone is seeking Krishna, for he is the super soul of all individual souls. Everyone loves his body and wants to protect it because he is within the body as the soul. And everyone loves the soul because the soul is part and parcel of the super soul. Therefore, everyone is actually seeking to achieve happiness by reviving his relationship with the super soul. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaish sarvir aham eva vedya. By all the Vedas, it is I who am to be known. So this is called logic. This is real logic. You know what logic means? Do they teach you logic in school? Not yet. Yes. Yes, logic means you think in a very systematic way, and you're able to discern the difference between truth and falsity, right? Now, the way they teach logic in schools, you get more confused by learning it. And you're not able to actually see reality from illusion by studying logic in school. But in Krishna consciousness, logic is a very simple subject. It's not complicated. All you have to know is 4 things. 1, yes. Perfect. He was at the program last night. Perfect. And he remembered. So repeat that again, Arush. This is like, if you understand these 4 things, you get an A++ in logic. You don't have to study the nonsense logic that they teach in school. Go ahead.
Accept everything which is favorable to Krishna.
Yes.
Reject everything which is not favorable to Krishna.
Well, you reject leaving the kirtan and wrestling in the classroom, right? If someone said, hey, we're going to have fun, we're going to the classroom, we'll leave the kirtan and we'll have a wrestling match. And what do you say?
No.
No, because is it favorable to Krishna?
No.
So you say, no, I don't want to go. It's nonsense. I want to stay here and chant Hare Krishna. Because this is the only way to go back to Godhead, not by wrestling. Right? Go ahead.
Remember Krishna and never forget Krishna.
Perfect. So, do you know logic now? Logic means you can figure out the right answer in every situation in life. And you'll be able to see the difference between truth and untruth, or truth and falsity. So, anukulyasya sankalpa, accept everything favorable for serving Krishna. So here it says, Krishna says, all living entities surrender unto me. I reward them accordingly as they surrender. So in other words, if you surrender 1%, how much will Krishna show you?
10%.
Wrong.
1%.
Only 1%. And if you surrender 0%, how much of Krishna will you see? 0. Right? So, we become knowledgeable of Krishna according to how much we surrender to him. Now, when someone says, hey, Mayapur, let's go and wrestle, leave the kirtan and wrestle in that room over there, and we'll close the door so no one sees us. What do you say, Mayapur? Why? Huh? What? Exactly right. No, nonsense means you can't offer it to Krishna. Krishna doesn't accept it. So, rule number 1, accept everything favorable for Krishna consciousness. Rule number 2, reject everything unfavorable. Rule number 3, always remember Krishna. Rule number 4, never forget Krishna. If you follow these simple rules of logic, you will be the most intelligent person in the whole universe. No one will be able to trick you. You see? Okay. So Krishna says, all living entities surrender unto me. I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O Arjuna. Everyone is seeking Krishna, for he is the super soul of all individual souls. Everyone loves his body and wants to protect it because he is within the body as the soul. And everyone loves the soul because the soul is part and parcel of the super soul. Therefore, everyone is actually seeking to achieve happiness by reviving his relationship with the super soul. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, by all study of the Vedas, it is I who am to be known. Therefore, the karmis, gyanis, yogis, and saintly persons are all seeking Krishna. But by following in the footsteps of devotees who are in a direct relationship with Krishna, especially the inhabitants of Vrindavana, one can reach the supreme position of associating with Krishna. As it is said, Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam nagacchati. Krishna does not leave Vrindavan even for a moment. The Vrindavana-vasis, like Mother Yasoda, Krishna's friends and Krishna's conjugal lovers, the younger gopis with whom he dances, have very intimate relationships with Krishna. And if one follows in the footsteps of these devotees, Krishna is easily available to that person. Although the Nitya Siddha expansions of Krishna always remain with Krishna, if those engaged in sadhana siddhi follow in the footsteps of Krishna's Nitya Siddha associates, such sadhana siddhas also can easily attain Krishna without difficulty. So there's three types of people. There is Nitya Siddha, Nitya Bada, and Sadhana Siddha. Okay, what does this mean? A Nitya Siddha devotee is a person that never fell down from the spiritual world and is always Krishna conscious and is in very intimate relationship with Krishna, like Mother Yasoda. The Nitya Badas, who are the Nitya Badas? These, all of us, we all revolted against Krishna, that's why we're here. So, like, for example, if you see someone in a prison, how did he get in that prison? Yes, Arush? He did something bad. So this world that we're in is called the prison of material entanglement. So, did we all do something bad? Yeah. Now, how do we know we did something bad? Because we're continuing to do things bad. Like walk out of the kirtan on Friday night to go wrestling in that room. That is bad. You should never walk away from Krishna. If anything, you should walk toward Krishna. Right? So, the proof that we did something bad originally, which was the cause of our leaving Krishna and coming to the material world, is that we do things bad even today. That's called the cause is in the effect. This is a principle. Krishna 1, what does that mean? What? I can't hear you. What did you say? What does it mean?
It's like if something happens, like if you like knock a vase over, then it breaks.
If you what?
If you like knock a vase over, then it falls down. And the cause is that you knock the vase over, and the effect is that it breaks.
Okay, now, what does it mean? The cause is in the effect. That was the question. The cause is, I didn't say cause effect. I said the cause is in the effect. What does that mean? Hold the microphone closer.
Like, whatever the effect is, the cause made it happen.
No. That's not right. Were you listening when I was speaking? Huh?
Yeah.
You were? Now how come you can't answer the question? You were not listening. You're doing nonsense. Okay. Anybody else want to answer what it means causes and effect? Yes, Prabhu. Give him the microphone.
Like, in the fact, you can see what the cause was. Like in the example he gave, if you see a shattered vase on the floor, you know that someone must have pushed it over. So when we see ourselves in the material world, we know we must have done something bad.
Exactly.
And we must have
right.
revolted against Krishna.
No, not only we did something bad. When we do something bad here, it's the proof that we did something bad in the spiritual world. Right? Because the cause, the original reason we left the spiritual world is in the effect. We're still leaving Krishna.
Yeah.
Every time we do something bad here, we're still leaving Krishna. The cause is in the effect. So, what is the solution? What is the solution? What? Yes? Yeah, what are bad things? Okay, what did we say are the 4 rules of logic?
Yeah.
Wait.
Always accept things that are available in Krishna's service.
Yes.
Okay. The first one's always accept things that are favorable in Krishna's service.
Yeah.
The next one is reject everything that's unfavorable in Krishna's service.
Yes.
The third one's remember Krishna always.
Yes.
And the fourth one's never forget him. Yeah.
Never what?
Never forget him.
Okay, so therefore, if you forget Krishna, or if you accept something unfavorable to Krishna, is that good or bad?
Bad.
Okay, so now you know the difference between good and bad. Now, whenever we choose to do something bad, that's the proof that we did something bad originally. And we're continuing it now. And we're walking away from Krishna even here. You see? The only way you can correct that is... How can you correct that? Yes?
Devotional service.
Yeah, always do the right thing. Accept only those things that are favorable for Krishna consciousness. And always remember Krishna. If you do those 2 things, always remember Krishna, always do things favorable for Krishna consciousness, you'll not do anything bad. My father once told me, if you do everything right, then you don't do anything wrong, then you have nothing to worry about. Okay? If you do everything right, and you don't do anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. I never understood that until I heard this verse, Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam. Accept everything favorable for Krishna consciousness and reject everything unfavorable. Then you don't make any mistakes. Okay, so here it says, so we said there's 3 types of devotees. There's a Nitya Siddha, Nitya Bada, and Sadhana Siddha. So, Nitya Siddha means it's a devotee who never fell down. They're always with Krishna. They never came to the material world. They're always in the spiritual world with Krishna. Nitya Bada are us. We fell down. Right? Now, what is Sadhana Siddha? Siddha means perfect. Right? So Nitya Siddha, they're eternally perfect. Nitya Bada means bad. They're conditioned by sinful activity. What is Sadhana Siddha? Yes. Yeah, they corrected themselves by always engaging in devotional service, and now they can go back to the spiritual world. So if you accept Krishna consciousness, always accept things favorable for Krishna, reject things unfavorable, you are practicing sadhana siddha. You're trying to perfect yourself by engaging in sadhana bhakti. What is sadhana bhakti? Following what? Following the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. Always chanting minimum 16 rounds a day. Accepting only prasadam for food. Regularly hearing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and discussing it and explaining it to others. And then regularly coming to the temple and engaging in devotional service under the guidance of bona fide devotees. Yes, Pranay. Give him the microphone.
But why do
Is it on? Is the microphone on?
initiated devotees have to chant only a minimum of 16 rounds and not like 20 or 5 or 10?
Minimum is 20. Minimum 6.
No, I know.
Minimum means you can chant 2,500.
No, but why is it 16?
Minimum 16 means you can chant as many as you want. But you have to do minimum 16 rounds. There's no rule you can't chant 25 rounds a day.
But no, my question is,
means like why, like the church.
Why 16?
yeah.
Why 16? Yeah. Well, actually, Prabhupada's guru insisted on 64. But if Prabhupada insisted on 64, none of us would be available for doing devotional service. He wanted us to be engaged in devotional service. So 16 is something you can do. It takes about 1.5 to 2 hours a day. And the rest of the day, you continue chanting, but you do devotional service. So when I joined Krishna Consciousness, I moved into the temple. I gave up everything else I was doing. And I just graduated college, and then I had a 4-year scholarship and to continue college, but I gave it up, and I joined the temple. And 24 hours a day we were engaged. 24 hours a day. You know what that means, to be engaged 24 hours a day? It means there's no time for nonsense. And we had a very good temple commander. He wouldn't give us 1 second. He always kept his eyes on us. London. And it was nectar. That type of life was nectar. Always serving Krishna. We were always hearing about Krishna, doing Sankirtan, distributing books, preaching to people, going to arti, going to class every morning, afternoon, and evening. There was no time for nonsense. Every second was planned. And that's the spiritual world. You're out of the material world. Even though you're living in the material world, you're not in the material world anymore. Completely in the spiritual world. So, this is called sadhana bhakti. You can perfect yourself. You can purify the criminal mentality of wanting to avoid Krishna consciousness by sadhana bhakti. And when you become perfect in sadhana bhakti, you go back to the spiritual world. You become nitya siddha again. Okay, so, but there are those who are attached to bodily concepts of life. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, for example, have very prestigious positions, and thus they have the sense of being very exalted Ishwaras, controllers. In other words, because Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are guna avatars and have exalted positions, they have some small sense of being like Krishna. But the pure devotees who inhabit Vrindavana do not possess any bodily conception. They are fully dedicated to the service of the Lord in sublime affection, or prema, pure love for Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore recommended prema pumarto mahan. The highest perfection of life is prema, pure love in relationship with Krishna. And Mother Yasoda appears to be the topmost of devotees who had attained this perfection. That's why we meditate. See the picture here? We're meditating on Mother Yasoda tying up Krishna. You see, she's a topmost devotee because she's always thinking of Krishna. Never stops thinking of Krishna. That's the highest perfection of life. While Mother Yasoda was very busy with household affairs, the Supreme Lord Krishna observed twin trees known as Yamala Arjuna, which in a former millennium had been the demigod sons of Kuvera. In their former birth, these two sons, known as Nala Kuvara and Manigriva, were extremely opulent and fortunate. But because of pride and false prestige, they did not care about anyone, and thus Narada Muni cursed them to become trees. So here it says, Kuvera atmajo bada murtyaiva yadva tvaya mochito bhakti bhajo kritocha tata prema bhaktim swakam me prayacha namokshe graho me si damodareya. O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yasoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera and Manigriva and Nala Kuvara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence, meaning I don't want to be a Mayavadi. So, you see, Krishna now becomes a little bit upset because his mother is busy with household affairs and has left him. And therefore, what does he do? He starts moving with the mortar, this thing that he was tied to. King Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, O great and powerful saint, what was the cause of Nala Kuvara and Manigrivas having been cursed by Narada Muni? What did they do that was so abominable that even Narada, the great sage, became angry at them? Kindly describe this to me. Sukadeva Goswami said, O King Parikshit, because the two sons of Kuvera had been elevated to the association of Lord Shiva, of which they were very much proud, they were allowed to wander in the garden attached to Kailasha hill on the bank of the Mandakini river. Taking advantage of this, they used to drink a kind of liquor called Varuni. Accompanied by women singing after them, they would wander in that garden of flowers, their eyes always rolling in intoxication. O Maharaj Parikshit, by some auspicious opportunity for the two boys, the great saint Devarsi Narada once appeared there by chance. Seeing them intoxicated with rolling eyes, he could understand their situation. Purport, Prabhupada says, it is said, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra and Kaya, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhihaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 22:54. Wherever Narada Muni goes, any moment at which he appears is understood to be extremely auspicious. It is also said, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 19:151. Narada appeared in the garden to give the two sons of Kuvera the seed of devotional service, even though they were intoxicated. Saintly persons know how to bestow mercy upon the fallen souls. Upon seeing Narada, the naked young girls of the demigods were very much ashamed. Afraid of being cursed, they covered their bodies with their garments. But the two sons of Kuvera did not do so. Instead, not caring for Narada, they remained naked. Seeing the two sons of the demigods naked and intoxicated by opulence and false prestige. Notice it doesn't say intoxicated by Varuni. They were intoxicated by opulence, meaning they were very rich, and false prestige. They were very puffed up. They thought they knew more than anybody else. Devarsi Narada, in order to show them special mercy, desired to give them a special curse. Thus he spoke as follows. See, the curse of a devotee is special. The curse of a demon is horrible. It's not special. What's the difference between a special curse and a horrible curse? Yes, Sai. Give him the microphone. What happened to me?
Usually a devotee's curse helps the person getting cursed progress into devotional life, while the demon, they just do it to get rid of them and suffer like endlessly.
Yes. Is that what you wanted to say? You want to say something else? Yeah, give him the mic. Put the mic on.
Like in Manigriva and Nalakuvera's case, a special curse can help them get closer to Krishna.
Yes.
But a demon's curse is usually just as punishment.
Yes. Very good. Okay, so Narada Muni gives a special curse. Narada Muni said, among all the attractions of material enjoyment, The attraction of riches bewilders one's intelligence more than having beautiful body features, taking birth in an aristocratic family, and being learned. When one is uneducated but falsely puffed up by wealth, the result is that one engages his wealth in enjoying wine, women, and gambling. In other words, Las Vegas. Okay. So, what is he saying here? Narada Muni is saying here, is that if you become rich and you're not Krishna conscious, then it's very dangerous, because you'll get very puffed up. You think you're invincible. Now, there's an example in the newspaper. In the news yesterday, there's a very famous movie producer named Mr. Weinstein. Weinstein. That's the German pronunciation. Weinstein. Right? Mr. Weinstein. He's very famous, very rich, very fat, and very ugly. Right? That goes along with the riches. Now, what does he say here? When one is uneducated, but falsely puffed up by what uneducated means. Now, Weinstein is very educated, but not in Krishna consciousness. He's very educated in material knowledge, but not Krishna consciousness. So he's considered uneducated. How do we know that? Etat shetram iti proktam agyana yad ato nyata. This means that anything beside the 20 points of knowledge is considered ignorance. What are the 20 points of knowledge? Atma Vinigraha means self-control. And then Indriyarte Savairagyam Anahankara Evacha Janma Mityu Jaravya Di Dukadosana Darsana. So in other words, anything besides these 20 points of knowledge is considered ignorance. So Weinstein is actually ignorant. He's not educated. Right. Go ahead. We'll finish after the opening of these.
Paranagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vedana Amala Harinam Amiya Vilasa Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Bora Vamsi Vadana Suvada Radhana Palana Sura Kulana Shana Nanda Godana Rakovada Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Hari Hari Sundarananda Gopala Yamuna Tata Chara Gopi Vasana Hara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya Sri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara Bhakti Vinoda Yashomati Nandana Gajavana Kara Gokula Nandana Kana Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vedana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Neta Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Neta Gora Hari Bol. Jayam Shripada Paramahamsa Parivadakshaya Stotra Sata Shishim His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivadakshaya Stotra Sata Shishim His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Namaskar Shri Haridas Thakur ki. Prem Se Kaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Sai Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Gir Gordhan ki. Vrindavan Dham ki. Jai Mayapur Dham ki. Jai Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Ganga Mai ki, Jai Yamuna Mai ki, Jai Bhakti Devi ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Samveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. All Guru says Samdhoris Hare Krishna, all Guru says Samdhoris Hare Krishna, all Guru says Samdhoris Hare Krishna, all Guru Shri Guru Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so Narada Muni says, when one is uneducated but falsely puffed up by wealth, the result is that one engages his wealth in enjoying wine, women, and gambling. Purport, Prabhupada says, among the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, people are certainly conducted by the lower qualities, namely passion and ignorance, and especially by passion. Conducted by the mode of passion, one becomes more and more involved in material existence. Therefore, human life is meant for subduing the modes of passion and ignorance and advancing in the mode of goodness. Tadarajas tamo bhavu kamaloba dayaschaye Chaitaritar nabitam stitvam sattve prasidati. Bhagavatam 1:2-19. This is culture. One must subdue the modes of passion and ignorance. In the mode of passion, when one is falsely proud of wealth, one engages his wealth only for three things, namely wine, women, and gambling. We can actually see, especially in this age, that those who have unnecessary riches simply try to enjoy these three things. In Western civilization, these three things are very prominent because of an unnecessary increase of wealth. Narada Muni considered all this in the case of Manigriva and Nalakuvara because he found in them so much pride in the wealth of their father, Kuvera. So Kuvera is the treasurer of the demigods. So he's extremely rich. The demigods manage everything in the universe. And his two sons, Manigriva and Nalakuvara, were very puffed up because they had so much wealth, and their father was the richest guy, materially speaking, in the universe. So we were talking about Mr. Weinstein, who's a famous movie maker. He makes movies, all junk movies, full of nonsense. But because there's so many junk people in this country who love nonsense, he became rich by making movies for them to go see. They're really stupid, disgusting movies, but people go to see them because they're stupid and disgusting also. So this man is very rich, is famous, he makes movies, And now he's disgraced. You know what the word disgraced means?
Yeah.
What?
It's like he's not. I don't really know how to explain it, but I'll do my best. It's like he's not a qualified person, or he's really intoxicated or something, and he doesn't do anything right. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
Yes, Pranay. We'll let you give a stab at it.
I infer that disgrace means now that Mr. Weinstein is now regretting that he made all those movies, and he's...
No. But you were getting close, but no. Okay, go ahead.
The meaning of disgrace is like being publicly humiliated.
Exactly right. Publicly humiliated. Well, what happened? What is not Narada? Let's see. We're starting with Narada Muni's statements. He says, when one is uneducated but falsely puffed up by wealth, the result is that one engages his wealth in enjoying wine, women, and gambling. Is that the right way to use your money? No. By the way, if you ever have any extra money, what should it be used for? Wine, women, and gambling? No. What should it be used for? Krishna. Because if you don't use it for Krishna, you're committing a sin. You're committing a sin. I mean, you need a certain amount of money to take care of yourself and your family, and that's understood. But anything above what is necessary, if you don't use it in Krishna's service, it's actually sinful, and you suffer for it. Yeah. Yeah, but actually, he didn't really participate in the wealth. His wife and the villagers that lived in his village, they all became opulent. He continued living exactly the same way when he was poor. Right? He didn't increase his eating. He didn't change his clothes. He always remained a humble brahmana, even though he became extremely rich by Krishna's mercy. And he just engaged in Krishna consciousness, using his money to have festivals and so forth, glorifying the Lord. Yes. So we see that Mr. Weinstein is uneducated. He doesn't know what money should be used for. When Prabhupada came to the United States, he gave the example of the blind man and the lame man. Now, a blind man can't see, and the lame man can't walk. But if the lame man gets on the shoulders of the blind man, the lame man can see, but he can't walk. The blind man can walk, but he can't see. So now, when the lame man gets on the shoulders of the blind man, then he has the eyes, and the blind man has the legs. Now they walk, and they go wherever they want. You see? So he said, America is blind, and India is lame. How is America blind, and how is India lame? Yes?
America is blind because they don't have devotional service. They don't know about Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Whereas India,
At that time, was lame.
India at the time was not so materially advanced.
It was considered a poor country, right? There were a lot of poverty, a lot of illiteracy, a lot of people suffering. So he said, I have come to America to teach the Americans how to use their money. How should you use money? Service of Krishna. So, did Prabhupada come to America to become rich himself? No. All the money that came to ISKCON eventually. In the beginning, there was no money. Prabhupada started with zero. But eventually, money started coming. He used it all in the service of his guru by printing books and then opening temples and spreading Krishna consciousness, not only in America, but in India and all over the world. Because Prabhupada was educated. What is the real, let's say, pinnacle of education? Bahunam janmanamante gyanavam mam prapadyante vasudeva savamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Oh Krishna, you are everything for me. So when you come to that conclusion, if you say Krishna is everything for you, then you use everything in Krishna's service. That's what Prabhupada did. And that's why he was able to spread the movement all over the world in 11 years. In 11 years, he spread the movement, starting from zero in New York City. And by the time he left his body, the movement had been spread all over the world. There were temples and devotees everywhere. But on the other hand, there's Mr. Weinstein, who is very rich, like I said, very fat,